everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Moving Parts. Our special guest this week is from Four Seasons Air Conditioning. They are a local HVAC company based out of Port Charlotte that serves the Southwest Florida community. They were founded in 1985 by Greg Hamilton, that started out as a one-man operation and has now grown to service thousands of people and providing employment for over 30 locals. They have 25 vehicles on the road to help keep you comfortable all year long. Abby's special guest in the studio today is second generation at the company, Tyler Hamilton. He is state certified air conditioning contractor with 19 years experience in the industry. Stay tuned to find out why Tyler and Abby have the same last name.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Abby Hamilton, the Realtor next door with Peacock Premier Properties, and I'm happy to be partnered with Burnt Store Title. And here we are today with Tyler Hamilton with Four Seasons Air Conditioning. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time today.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
We know it's busy, and we're actually meeting earlier so that we can accommodate everyone's schedule. So we appreciate your time. Jumping right into the world of air conditioning, we're going into hot season, so I know you guys are picking up in the business. Mm-hmm. And what would you say are some suggestions for those that are cranking down, I should say, their air conditioners?
So the first couple things I would, if you're comfortable doing your own maintenance, just make sure your filter's changed, for sure. That's number one.
How frequently should you do that?
It's as needed. Some people need to do it every 2 weeks. Some people need to do it every 6 months. So I tell people to look at it every 30 days just to check it, and hopefully they do it, every 30 days. The other thing is after the filter, make sure the drain line is cleared. Make sure the batteries are changed in the thermostat. Those are all things that most homeowners can do on their own. And if you aren't comfortable doing that, feel free to call a service provider like us or any other reputable AC company in town, and they'll be able to take care of that for you.
When you say the drain cleaned, what do you mean by that, and how would you even begin to clean it?
Oh yeah, so out on the air handler, the part of the AC unit that blows the air inside your house. Make sure you maybe pour some bleach or some vinegar or flush it with warm water, and maybe even use a shop vac outside. If you're comfortable doing that, like I said, sometimes you can just call a provider and they'll come out and perform that service for you. And what I tell people to do is, kind of just copy the technician that's out there. And so the next time, if you're comfortable doing it on your own, you can do it on your own. So, okay. And you're prepared for next time.
When maintenance, you guys offer a maintenance service, correct?
Yeah, we offer a maintenance plan. It's $159 a year, and we come out twice. And we come out to the home and do just what I was saying. Change your filter, clean the drain line, check your thermostat, just overall checks on the unit to make sure, it's running the way it's supposed to.
Okay. And if I'm seasonal, maybe I'm not here that time of year, do you guys still come out if they provide a way to get into the home?
Yeah, we do that a lot. We have a lot of clients that are snowbirds down here in the Southwest Florida area. So we coordinate with home watch services, neighbors. We have a lot of clients that give us keys to their properties, or they'll give us a code to their garage door or a code to their front door. So there's always a way to gain access if you aren't around.
Okay, that's good to know because we have a lot of customers that are in and out of the area. Mm-hmm. Something that, we're in Florida and it's hot. If I want it 72 degrees in my house, what do you say is ideal temperature for those that are trying to be comfortable in their house but also not overuse that system?
Right. So in my opinion, right, the best temperature to keep it is above 75 degrees. Like the Florida Energy Code says we should really only keep the house, like a residential home, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So whenever people drop the temperature below 75 degrees, we're going to start to see issues with humidity and condensation, and it's just not a good environment. So the higher we're able to keep the temperature, and if we can keep the humidity lower, that's the best.
Okay.
So.
And air conditioners range, obviously, in all sorts of costs. Is there, as a person buying a new home, that can be a large expense. Is there something that you help out with for new home buyers if they're looking into a home? Do you ever go out to inspect the air conditioners for them?
Yeah, so a lot of times the home inspector will come out and they'll look at the AC and they can't really do a whole lot as far as on the inspection side. They just see if the unit's working or not. A lot of times a buyer or even a seller will come to us and say, "Hey, I need an inspection done on this AC unit to just give people the peace of mind that they're gonna not be buying into a problem." But sometimes we can't do a whole lot. We're really straight edge about what we tell people. Sometimes if it's an old unit, we tell them it could last 2 weeks or it could last 2 years. I mean, you're really rolling the dice on it, and we don't want to mislead people. But the general rule of thumb is anything over 10 to 12 years is the life expectancy, and if you can get more than that, then you're doing great.
Now, what services do you find that you're going out for service calls? Is there something that's more common than others?
Yeah, the number one service call we have is a drain line. As we had mentioned earlier, clearing that drain line is huge, especially with newer systems. Believe it or not, newer systems have more of a drain issue than the old ones, which a lot of people don't grasp when they buy a new system. They're buying into a more of a maintenance issue. So that drain maintenance is key. It's huge. And the next biggest thing is like thermostat issues or capacitors, but that's more of a professional fix. So
technical. Now, you have said that the newer systems sometimes require more maintenance than the older systems.
Correct. Yeah. So this goes back a few years ago. So original systems that were installed in these homes 10, 15 years ago, they were all installed with an evaporator coil, which the evaporator is in the unit that blows the air through their house. The coil is made out of copper or a copper alloy of some sort. All the new coils made in the last 3 years are all aluminum. There's no copper or tin in those coils. And there is something in the copper that used to change the alkalinity of the water, which prevented bacterial growth because copper is a natural antibacterial. Now that the lack of copper, we see a lot more bacterial growth in the coils and the condensate, and that causes more white slime, and that's what causes these blockages. And so the more that we can treat, clean, vacuum, whatever to those drain lines, the less headaches we're going to have in the future.
Interesting. Well, I appreciate you giving us a very detailed description of what that process is, because I learn something new every day, and I'm sure our listeners do as well. Now, you've been doing this for quite some time, and if you didn't know, this is actually my husband. I begged him to be on the show with us because he's very busy as we get into the very hot summer months. So how long have you been doing this, and how did you get into this?
Yeah, so I got into this. I technically started when I was, I think, 13 years old. My father actually started Four Seasons Air Conditioning back in the 80s, and I started when I was 14 years old, running duct, cleaning up the warehouse. And then I just kept on progressing as I got older. I got a 4-year bachelor's degree from University of South Florida, and then just kept on with the trades. I think the trades are something that a lot of people dismiss, but it's actually a very good way to, earn a living and support a family. So. And
you've helped out. You've actually been a substitute at Charlotte Technical Center, correct?
Yeah, so a few years ago, I was asked to work on the advisory board with the Charlotte Tech Center for their HVAC program, and I was the substitute. So I would go in and help teach the students and help mentor them because that's the next generation of tradesmen right there.
And where all do you service?
All right. Yeah, so our company services from South Venice all the way to Cape Coral and North Fort Myers. So we cover a pretty large area.
And if my air conditioner was to break on holiday or very late into the evening, are you guys able to come out and service that within a very small window, or do I have to wait till the next business day to get that done?
So it all depends. Normally, if you call us during business hours, we're able to make it out there that day, but it all depends on our workload. We do have emergency service. We're open, 24/7, 365. So, we had technicians on call on Memorial Day, on Christmas, on Thanksgiving. So there's always someone there to take care of an emergency issue.
And I'm sure you guys find that those are very busy days.
Yeah, it just depends on the weather,
And typically, I would say that those times are when people care the most because they have company coming to
Oh, yeah.
enjoy and they're entertaining. And then if something happens, it kind of makes a problematic situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Or, the scary ones we see are when it's, Christmas Eve and there's water pouring out of someone's ceiling. That's a huge problem that you don't want to wait until the next day, So we have technicians available to help remedy that problem if we're able to. So
Speaking of huge problems, I guess let's go into what are some crazy things you have seen or experienced while in the field, whether I know you kind of from wildlife to the situations you have to service the equipment in. I know you guys kind of get a range of.
yeah, so some of the crazy ones are just like, animal problems. We've been in attics with possums and raccoons and snakes, or armadillos. They'll go under mobile homes and just, destroy people's ductwork. Another good thing to keep your house, closed up the best you can to keep the animals out. That would be a huge help. And then another one is just certain things where we see other, I wouldn't call them contractors, but maybe a handyman or someone that knows about air conditioning coming in and trying to fix a problem, but they fix it the wrong way. And then the professionals have to come in and try to make sense of what was done. Usually those are a fun thing to step into.
Now, what are some hardships that you're seeing in the business now?
So a couple hardships that we see are recently is the cost of the equipment and the cost of material and labor. All of that, over the last 2-3 years, the cost of a new air conditioner, I think, has almost doubled. At least for us, it's insane. The government has pushed all of these efficiency mandates that has caused the equipment to get more expensive. With that and the inflation that we've seen, labor costs have gone up. So things are just getting more expensive, and it makes me hurt for these homeowners. They're on a tight budget or they're on a fixed income. That they, air conditioning is a necessity, and it's unfortunately just getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, that's very true. It is a necessity, especially here. And I know that just even putting gas in cars, because you guys go to so many calls throughout the day. Do you have any idea of how many miles that you guys are driving? Or
Oh yeah, I know during like peak times, like in the summer, especially I think it was last summer when the gas was crazy. Like just our gas bill for our business was $4,500 a month, which I mean that's a lot of money. So when people get charged a certain amount of money, all of that is factored into it. So we aren't. Some people think that AC contractors are taking advantage of them, but really it costs a lot of money to run a service business, and some people don't understand that. But
yeah, and I mean on the real estate side too, it's people just see what they're paying a realtor, but it's hard for them to understand that there's a lot that goes into it than just a check at the end of it, and how my check is broken up into multiple parts, and
right.
you need to have a piece of the pie to make it worth it to be in business, but it does kind of come across as a lot initially for even a product. I'm sure you have the product might not cost very much in the grand scheme of things, but you have to get it there and make sure that if something's wrong with it, you have to go back out to the call, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, that's why everything we sell, like if we do a repair, it's under warranty. So if we come out to clear a drain line or replace a capacitor or a motor, we offer a 1-year warranty on all the services that we provide. So that gives peace of mind to the homeowner or to the client, and also gives them value in what they're getting. So,
well, I know obviously I know, and we told everyone that it's a family business,
mm-hmm.
and then you're a part of the business, and you have other family working there. And what about your staff? I feel like some of the staff have been there a long time, correct?
Yeah, so we have, I would say, pretty low turnover in our business. We have a lot of people that have been around, 20 plus years, a lot of 10 plus years on with us. And a lot of that has to do with how we treat our employees. We treat them like people. I know it's cliche to say, but like we treat them like family. So it works out pretty good, and we're big believers in having, happy employees means we have, happy clients. So.
Oh, that's a great point. Now, you're from this area,
Yeah, yeah,
It
born
feels
and
weird because I'm
raised, yeah.
trying to interview you, but at the same time, I know that about you. But we'll just keep rolling with it because I do want you to kind of be able to answer these just like you were in a regular interview. So from the area, now where did you grow up and maybe go to school? Share some of that.
I grew up in Port Charlotte. Went to all the Charlotte County schools here locally. Yeah, I mean, it was just.
So elementary school.
Oh, yeah, Deep Creek Elementary. Went to Murdoch Middle School, I think it was, and then Port Charlotte High School, and then I even went to like my first 2 years of college at what used to be Edison, I think is what is now like Southwestern.
Yeah, Southwestern. Yeah. Now you just question it, so I'm trying to wonder. But I think it's Southwestern University here. But now, what are some things that people might not know about you? Any hobbies, interests that?
Yeah, so some weird hobbies. I mean, I like to go to the gym. I have a lot of bonsai trees, which is really interesting. Not a lot of people are into bonsai trees. I have a pilot's license, so I can fly small single-engine planes, which is fun.
Did you do
I
that
like
locally? Like, what airport do you fly?
Yeah. The Punta Gorda Airport has a lot of flight schools there, which is a really fun thing to do, even if you don't want to get licensed. But I think it's a fun thing for someone to at least go up and try flying for once in their life. I mean, it's a magical thing.
I'm sure we can get a whole topic of flying because that's very interesting for folks. And Punta Gorda is a growing airport, so it'd be even interesting to learn in an area that there's some bigger name airlines in there now. Yeah. Give us a little bit more about what services you offer. I know that you're in residential, but maybe elaborate. Do you go into commercial?
Yeah, so we do light commercial. So that could be anything from a strip store. We don't work on, a Publix, but we do just regular commercial offices, banks, insurance offices, real estate agencies, that sort of thing.
Do you have restaurants?
We do some restaurants. We do some restaurants. We have service plans for those as well. Depending on the application of the business, we recommend every 3 months to go out and change the filters and service those units, just because commercial units see a little bit more use than a residential home. So
okay. And I know that while you service air conditioning, what are some other services that people might not realize that you help out with as well?
All right, yeah. So for really we stick with air conditioning, but we do have an electrical license, and so we do provide electrical services as they pertain to air conditioning. We don't do like panel change outs, but we do, add new circuits here and there as need be. So, we are an electrical contractor. We also do dryer vent cleaning. That's a big thing that gets overlooked, is dryer vent cleaning. We tie that into our maintenances if need be. It's an add-on service, but it's a reasonable cost. But we clean the dryer once every 3 years usually.
And why is the dryer vent cleaning so important?
Well, I think a dryer, I don't know the statistic, but I believe like dryer fires are probably like the number one cause of a residential home fire. And so cleaning that vent, or at least keeping it maintained and checked, is crucial. And a lot of people overlook that, especially the way our houses are constructed down here and the way the vents run. They collect lint rather quickly, right?
So it's probably something you don't really see very often. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
That's yep. Right.
All right. So what would be the proper way to clean the dryer vent on our own, per se, before we had someone come and maintenance that?
Yeah, so it's actually rather easy. You can buy a kit from the hardware store. You just run a spinning brush and a wand up through the duct, and use a vacuum cleaner to suck up the lint that's coming out. But sometimes you have to move the washer dryer. Sometimes you need to go outside and access the vent from the outside. And that's where I would recommend a professional, just because you don't need to be up on the roof, risking falling off the roof.
And you have liability insurance for
that. Yeah, we have liability insurance for that. But the biggest thing, though, especially after the hurricane that we've had, is all of these people are getting new roofs. That's a big thing. We saw this after Hurricane Charlie as well. But a lot of these roofers are installing new roof caps, which is like the gooseneck on the roof that the dryer penetrates. they're putting the roof vents on the roof that have a screen or like a fine wire mesh on the roof. And they do that because, we want to keep the critters out of the vent. We want to keep, birds, lizards, and all that out of the vent. But what it does, that screen acts like a filter for your dryer vent. And that will just clog up with dryer lint and build up and build up and build up to the point where it doesn't let any air pass through. So technically that screen should be removed. So that's something you should definitely check if you find that your dryer isn't drying the way it's supposed to. Is to make sure that screen is not on there.
That's a very good point. And roofs are commonly being replaced. And I'm glad you touched on something with the hurricane-related aspect, as you're seeing a lot of changes from that. And like you said, handymen coming out and trying to fix things. I'm sure you guys are going to continue to have kind of that what did they do moment. So I wanted to ask a little bit on what new products are you guys offering or seeing become more popular now that you specialize in?
Right. So as far as new products, there's a lot of new AC equipment out there. The one that's gaining popularity that I've seen is mini splits, or like a mini air conditioner. A lot of people might think of them as like a Mitsubishi or a Daikin. It's the units that you see hanging on the wall.
And I'll just pause real quick. We have one in our bedroom, and you can crank that baby down to, I don't know, we don't keep it down to the 65 degrees or so, but if you want it cold, it can make a small space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're wonderful things. They're very energy efficient, and right now, depending on the unit that you purchase, they qualify for like a 30% tax credit up to 20% or up to $2,000. So the government is helping subsidize the cost of installing these mini splits, which is wonderful. That also applies to your garage. So a lot of people move down here from up north. They have this garage. They don't have a basement anymore, so all of their storage is in their garage, and their garage is 100 degrees. And so those mini splits are really good at keeping the garages more comfortable and climate controlled. That way their storage is safe for them. So.
And do you see a lot of those in like a Lanai area too, where someone might have that indoor-outdoor area?
Yeah, there's a couple condos that we do a lot of. They have these 400 square foot, Florida rooms, we call them, where they're all screened in or enclosed with glass, and we'll install one of those mini splits out there, and we're able to, gain conditioned space for a pretty reasonable amount of money. So.
Okay. Are there any other products or things that you're seeing that people kind of drawing attention to?
Another big one is like Wi-Fi and smart thermostats. These are huge for our seasonal population. I recommend an Ecobee thermostat for someone that's seasonal. That will display the temperature and the humidity, and as long as you leave the Wi-Fi on, you'll be able to monitor those anywhere in the world while you're away. And they'll even send you an alert if the humidity gets too high.
Which I was going to say, because humidity is a problem, especially for those that are seasonal.
Correct. A lot of people think that temperature is the biggest thing, but I think humidity is almost equal or more important than the temperature. So when you're away, you want to make sure the humidity doesn't get above 60%. And if it does, you need to get someone over there as soon as possible to help remedy that situation. So.
And just to say, what problems could come from them letting that?
Yeah, so we see it a lot. People that are seasonal that are gone and they don't have a home watch. If you have a home that's sitting at above 65% humidity for more than a few weeks at a time, you'll start to see like mold blooms, mold growing on cabinets, on furniture, and closets. And that's not a good situation, especially because, a mold outbreak like that isn't usually covered under your homeowner's insurance. So it's really good to make sure that humidity is controlled.
Thank you. That was a great description. And since we're talking a little bit about seasonal and full-time residents, do you see a difference in what services are needed or the wear and tear on the units from that?
Yeah, so what I've seen is people that are seasonal actually get more time out of their AC systems just because, they aren't running as hard during the summer. And so, thankfully, they get to escape the hot summers that we have, and they're able to keep their system maybe 80 degrees, whereas the locals are running these things,
or locals, or maybe should I say from people up north that have decided to be local here.
Yeah.
They're used to very cool summers.
Yeah, they aren't used to it. And, we just see a lot more wear and tear on the equipment during the summer season, and the snowbirds just don't have that on theirs. So another thing I would recommend too for a snowbird or someone that isn't here full time is to get a standalone dehumidifier. This is one thing that I've been preaching for years is when you go away for the summer season, buy a cheap dehumidifier from Home Depot or Walmart or wherever and set it on your kitchen counter, drain it into your sink and set it to 55% humidity. And what that'll do is it's just like an extra safeguard to make sure that your house never sees high humidity conditions. And it's cheap insurance for a second property. So
That's good advice. And how much would you say that something like that would cost?
$300 to $400.
All right, so peace of mind might be worth it
Yep.
to prevent bigger problems that could potentially
Exactly.
come. Now, do you guys allergies are a big thing,
Mhm.
and do you have any products that would help with allergies or?
Yeah, so there's certain UV lights, or I wouldn't call it a UV light, but like an air purifier that has a UV light integrated, and those do a really good job at helping to purify the air. But to be honest, in my opinion, the air conditioning isn't the best way to clean the air in your home, because it only does it when the AC is running. So I'm a big fan of a standalone HEPA filter that plugs into the wall. Those are the best at cleaning the air in your home. I mean, unfortunately, we don't sell those. We aren't making any money off of those, but those are going to be the best thing for your home. They run 24/7. You can buy the filters on Amazon or Home Depot, and they're going to do the best job for taking care of the allergies.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
We appreciate you coming on. Real quick, what are some goals that you have for the company moving forward? Obviously, you kind of get a little voice in that, but what would you like to see moving forward with where you guys are going?
So the biggest thing for us, we're looking at, taking on new employees that are going to be the future. Right now the younger generation doesn't like to get into the trades, so that's the biggest thing, is training up a good workforce that's going to be able to provide service to the community for the next generation here, and then just to grow and keep taking care of our customer base.
Awesome. And your customer base is how large? How many people would you say you service typically?
We have thousands. We have on that maintenance plan I mentioned, we have over 4,000 people signed up on that. So it's a good thing for people to get on. It's a good peace of mind that they're able to have a service provider come check on them twice a year. So.
Well, that's wonderful. And as you know, it's I shouldn't say always hot in Florida, but a good percentage of the time it is. So it's definitely a business that, if young folks are trying to grow and find something and want to get into the trades, it would be a great opportunity for them to grow in this field. And the great thing is, the Charlotte Technical Center is one of our local schools that offers. Do they still offer that program? Do you know?
Yeah, they still offer it. I think they're going to branch it off into 2 classes, and I think there's even a waiting list. So there's a huge demand for HVAC technicians right now. It's huge.
That's awesome. That's something for you guys to look forward to, and then obviously peace of mind for those that are going to be here a long time and need to make sure that there's folks to service them.
Exactly.
So. Well, we thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I know I kind of begged you to be here because it's pertinent information. So we appreciate it. So everyone, we hope you learned something new and take this advice, share it with others, and stay tuned for our Tuesday title tip. Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's me again, Toby Beth Johnson with Burnt Store Title of Southwest Florida. Wow, what some awesome information with Abby and Tyler Hamilton. We hope you learned something new. Since Tyler is a contractor with HVAC and electrical services for your air conditioning unit, we wanted to be sure your title tip today will surround looking at whether or not there are open permits or notices of commencement. Just like when Tyler comes out to put in a new air conditioner in your home, he is going to pull a permit. Your notice of commencement will show up on your title commitment, as an open permit will show up on your municipal lien search. Both reports are pulled commonly when you process your transaction through Burnt Store Title of Southwest Florida. That's your title tip for this Tuesday. We hope you enjoyed episode number 3. Looking forward to seeing you the 4th time around.